Hi everyone. Today we're going to talk about how to become a SQL developer in this year. And the agenda we're going to discuss is on what is SQL. So we're going to see a couple of slides on understanding what is SQL, and then we're going to discuss about skills to have to become a SQL developer, and what is the career path, and what kind of certifications you can do to become a SQL developer, and then how the job trends for SQL developer and average salary for SQL developer. And we can also discuss about further learning, how Intellipaat can help you, to become a SQL developer. What is SQL? Like you would have known, like there are so many programming languages out there. In order to make your applications work the same way, in order to maintain the data that comes through your application, you need to have a database. You can query your databases only using SQL language. And SQL is a structured query language, which is a computer language for sorting, manipulating, and retrieving data. Usually, you just take an example of Facebook or any other data-centric application like Instagram, the social network websites and all. So all this data that you dump into these platforms, like pictures and then messages, content that you're going to share on these platforms, all this will be stored somewhere in the background. And that storage, you can call those as a database systems. And they can accept lots of data. And the way the database systems will retrieve the data also will be very fast compared to the file systems. In olden days, people used to store everything on the file system, and it's not that optimal when compared to the database systems, because your database systems are designed to work with the huge workloads, with huge data sets. So that's where to become a database developer, you must know how to write a SQL statements. Not only just a database developer. If you want to become a programming, like a Java programmer or a Python programmer or data scientist or a data analyst where you will be working with databases, right? So there, having SQL knowledge will help you. And the one who works with these databases usually referred as SQL developer. In few organizations, there will be a specific role for SQL developers. Few organizations, it's a mix of both. Programming language plus database development. So they'll be looking for developers who has knowledge on both programming of like kind of Java plus Oracle, or could be Python plus MySQL, something like the combination of a programming language and a database server. So in order to become even a developer, a software developer, a programmer, you must know the database systems. You must know how to write SQL statements. You should know how the database stores the data and the stuff. Usually, we will be covering all those topics in our sessions. And let me go to the next slide. As I told you that it's a structured query language, basically, which is a computer language which will help your database systems to understand and store the data, and also can manipulate the data using SQL statements, and also you can retrieve the data. And there are so many relational database systems in market: MySQL, Oracle, yes, Microsoft SQL Server, and Postgres. So a couple of them we can call them as relational database systems, and there are no SQL databases as well. And you don't find much difference, the way that you handle SQL across these different database platforms. You can see, like if you start learning Microsoft SQL Server, you can see the same SQL statements even on Oracle, MySQL, and also on the Postgres. There will be a slight difference in syntaxes, but more of that language, SQL language is going to be same. It can work across all these platforms. And basically, what a SQL developer will do. SQL developer is the one who built or who structured these database systems, like the way that your application accepts the data, right? So they will design the database, and as they build the database, and they're responsible for ensuring the data insertions will happen, because once you design the database, it has to accept the data, right? So for that also, you need to write some SQL statements which can help you to insert, manipulate the data. Sometimes what will happen, you may have to change existing data. So that time you'll have to manipulate these database systems. And maintaining. Mostly a developer will never maintain a database server. There is a dedicated role for that in most of the organizations, where a database administrator will work on this, managing and maintaining these database environments. Kind of, they'll manage those database servers. They'll manage those backups, and security of the data will be handled by database administrators. Mostly, a developer will work more on designing the database and ensuring that he will write the required database objects to manipulate the data. Right. And what are the skills that are required to become a SQL developer? And let me go to the next slide. The major skills that required to become a SQL developer is you should understand data management, and you should know little understanding. I mean, you should have a little understanding about software programming. And then if somebody is already having experience working on software products, so if someone is already into software development lifecycle, then it will be very easy for them to understand and then start learning these things. Even if you don't have that basic knowledge, right? That's fine, because as per my experience, it's very easy to learn compared to any other programming language. Understanding SQL is very easy, and learning is very easy, and then implementing that also very easy. So more of SQL statements look similar, like the way that we speak. The same way you have to write your SQL statements. So they are very user friendly. I mean, it will be very easy for you to learn and then implement in real time also. And you should know little problem solving skills. So basically, the problem solving skill is required because all these SQL statements are more of logical. So once you understand a requirement, right, then you'll have to logically think how you can solve that by reading your data. Usually, what happens, we dump the data into a database, but we will not be reading all the data back. Only we'll be reading the data that is required by a specific process, or by like, let's say if someone comes and asks you how many sales happened in a specific year. Okay, what is the trend of sales in a particular month? So to do that, right, I mean, once you understand the requirement, you should have some logical thinking. So that's what problem solving means in this case. So you should know that logical thinking. And then once you get that, the way that you want to define or get that report or get the data, then it will be very easy for you to write SQL. And yeah, TSQL is the basic thing, because that's where you start learning SQL syntaxes. There are so many, many people call PLSQL, SQL, TSQL. If you ask me, all those are same. It's just a difference in name. Usually, if you are working on a Microsoft SQL Server, you can refer that SQL syntaxes that you do as TSQL. TSQL in this case is nothing but transact SQL. And if you work with MySQL databases, you can call it as a SQL. Simply, people refer that as SQL language. And then if you are working with Oracle, it's again SQL. And if you want to work little advanced in Oracle, like creating packages, defining some kind of package, which is a combination of so many other database objects like views and procedures and triggers, there people refer that as a PLSQL. But once you have a clarity, how to write a SQL statements, right? Then it will be very easy for you to work on any database system. As I mentioned in the previous slide, although there are so many database systems in the market, but once you know how to write a SQL statement, right, that is same across all these platforms. So your career path will not stop at one particular product. Once you become a SQL developer, right, you have a flexibility of working with any other database systems as well. Like if you start learning Microsoft SQL Server, you can also work on MySQL databases. You can also work on Oracle databases. You can also work on NoSQL databases as well. That's how I started my career. I mean, it won't be any difficult. You don't need any specific learning after that also. As you keep on working on SQL, right? As I told you, it's more of 80 to 90% similar across all these products. So you can easily pick up if there is a new project, and then you will have to work on a different database system. You can immediately start working on it. There will be very slight difference in syntaxes here and there. Other than that, the rest of the syntaxes will be same on any of these platforms. And as we are talking about career path in SQL developer, you can become a DBA also. Once you know how to write SQL statements, then it will be easy for you to learn more on the administration aspects as well. Like, let's say, once you're familiar with designing databases, then what you can do, you can start learning administration, like how to manage servers, how to manage database servers, how to protect them in terms of security, and how you can make them more optimized so that they can take care of your workload. So all this comes in the administration, and it will be very easy for you to pick up that aspect as well. So, but the basic for even to become a SQL admin is SQL developer. The reason why I'm saying this specific thing, because I mostly work as an administrator and architect, where I have seen many people, they became a DBA, but most of them even doesn't know how to write SQL statements, because it's not really mandatory to become a database administrator. However, if you know SQL and then if you become a DBA, right, then it's going to be like a very good exposure for you to work on database development as well. So if there is any issue, like, if there is any performance issue, you can easily take care of it. So that's how it helped in my career as a database admin. Is like I first learned SQL development, and then I choose the path of database administration initially, and later on I started again working as a database developer and database architect. So the reason why I'm saying this example is because your career path will not stop at one point. So once you learn SQL, right, you can become an administrator, you can become a database developer, you can become a data scientist. Even you can become an ETL developer. Like, you can start working on ETL packages. You can start working on data warehousing concepts. So for all these, the basic is the understanding SQL development, SQL concepts. And you can also become a BA administrator. And like these days, I'm mostly working on analytics side, where I'll be working mostly on the NoSQL databases and ETL development. Because since my basics are very strong in SQL, it was very easy for me to shift from one position to other position. So SQL, you have lots of opportunities as a SQL developer. Once you start learning SQL, right, eventually you can move around between these options, and then you can easily, like, if there is an opportunity to become a DBA, you can become a DBA. If there is an opportunity to become data scientist, you can do that. So there is no end once you start learning SQL. And certification path, like usually in Intellipaat, will be helping you to understand the concepts. It's a kind of more of real-time classes, live classes. Will be helping you with lots of examples. We'll be discussing lots of real-time scenarios. And in this SQL developer sessions, we'll give you lots of exercises for you to practice. And once you get familiar with all these SQL developer concepts, right, then you can, there are multiple ways you can, get certified. Like if you are, we mostly cover TSQL in our sessions. And once you're done with that, you can also write your own, certification from Microsoft. So there are plenty of certification exams available, and which will help you to gain certification, and that will add an value to your profile. And obviously, like if you have certification, and definitely you have substantial increase in your pay compared to the one with no certification. And having certification will definitely an added advantage to get hired quickly compared to the one who doesn't have a certification. But it's really not matter in real time. It's about knowledge that you have. Okay, even if you have certification and if you don't clear interview, you'll never get hired, right? But having certification always help you. But to get certification, it's kind of you have to practice a little more. Like you have to work a lot on the sample databases and all. You have to understand requirement kind of stuff. It won't be that difficult also. And the benefit of become a SQL developer is these days all these companies like Microsoft, Oracle, MySQL, and any database system that you take, all of them are giving a free, evaluation softwares, so that you can just download them and install them, and you can start practicing. There are so many sample databases available on web which you can make use of them. We will help you all that the learning path in these sessions. Okay, so that once you are done with this SQL developer sessions, you can you can start you can practice a little more, and then you can start venturing into getting certified, so that you can easily get certified, and then you can add that certification to your profile. And also here we'll be helping with some basic projects as well, so that you can make use of those projects to gain more knowledge in kind of real-time knowledge. And as I mentioned in the earlier, like, you can get certified in many ways. So as if you observe in this particular slide, you can see that although there are different organizations, right? IBM, Microsoft, Oracle, even MySQL, Postgres, there won't be much difference. That's what I'm saying. So once you become certified with Microsoft or Oracle, or maybe with IBM, TB2, or maybe MySQL certified developer, don't worry, that would be enough. One certification would be enough for you to carry forward. So as that SQL is more of same between all these products, right? So one certification would be enough. Until unless if you want to get more specific, like, there are few people who want to work more on only Oracle kind of stuff. Like, let's say I have seen many developers are database administrators who works mostly on the Oracle databases. So they want to get in depth into the Oracle systems and then work only on that. So in that scenario, you can just get certified only with the Oracle related certification exams. Yeah, job trends and salary for DBAs. So this is the average salary per year, both in India and US. Sometimes you do get more than this because that depends on how you go ahead and perform. This is an average salary that I would say. There are organizations which pay less than this, and there are organizations who will pay more than this. So it depends on how you perform in interview. So you can ask for it. And there are, I have seen there is a constant hiring for SQL developers in most of the organizations. Because the reason why I'm saying this, because in earlier days, not too early, like even in the very recent past, usually what companies used to do, they used to hire people, kind of a programmer. So a programmer, he could be strong with his Java skills, or maybe .NET skills, or maybe Python skills, or C or C Sharp, whatever it is. And they also know little about databases. Nowadays, what happened? All these companies, all these platforms have become data-driven applications. Like, even if you take any database in any application, at the end of the day, it is going to generate huge volumes of data. So eventually, what happened? Many organizations realize that a programmer is not the right one to design a database. So they need a different, they need more people, kind of, they need a database developers who have knowledge on designing databases, so that they can optimize this databases effectively. Because at the end of the day, for all these organizations, it's like speed matters. Like, if you go to any application, like if you go to Facebook, and if you see that Facebook is performing slow, then what you do, you will eventually stop using Facebook, right? Same with Instagram. But the moment you log into any of this, Facebook or even Netflix, if you log into Netflix, and if you start streaming something, and if it is buffering, definitely stop using it, right? So they have to make these things work fast. So for that purpose, they need a lot, because all these data gets stored in the databases only. Even Netflix uses Cassandra. Okay, Netflix uses Druid. And there are so many organizations use database systems in the background, either for streaming or for reporting, analytics, and all this stuff. All the data comes from the databases only. So these days, they understand the need for the database developers. And I do see there is a huge requirement, huge hiring in SQL development in near future. And learning path, like, you can first understand SQL architecture. Like, you just need to understand what is a database and what kind of data gets stored, and how you can store the data and all. And then you should know how to deploy and modify and configuring. And we'll be helping you to understand a couple SQL components, and will help you to make use of tools, how you can make use of tools to work with databases. And we'll give you a couple of sample projects so that you can go through those sample projects, and then you can acquire more knowledge. And once you get certified, you can start your career with SQL, as a SQL developer. All right. Yeah, like an investment in knowledge always pays best interest. I truly believe this, because like as you learn every day, right? Definitely you'll have plenty of opportunities. So that way you can always, you're just going to invest on earning knowledge. And once you invest time on earning knowledge, and automatically you get paid better. The more knowledge that you have, right, you get paid more, right? So I believe this. So I wish you all good luck. Jay, are you on the call? Okay, so all this while, sorry guys, I have a dual monitor. So I was in assumption that my screen was, I was sharing my screen on the first monitor. So wherein you can see this. Okay, so now you are able to see my screen. But if you guys have any questions, we can ask me. And just I'll go back to a few slides, okay? And let me just help you with. Yeah, so I'll talk more on this particular thing. As I told you, right? So once you know SQL development, you can become a DBA easily, right? Not only just DBA, you can become a SQL developer, you can become a ETL developer. And when it comes to database development, these days, especially these days, I have seen organizations asking for, I've seen organizations expecting, at least they're expecting, if they're looking for a database administrator, right? Sorry, database developer, then they're looking for someone who has knowledge on database development plus ETL. Okay, so in this case, if you see ETL development and BA development is more of same. Okay, so kind of ETL is like working more on the ETL processes and all, kind of, even if you know Spark and all, it will be easy. Fortunately, a lot of database systems are also offering ETL solutions. Like if you talk about SQL Server is offering SSIS, which is an ETL solution. And they're also again offering SSIS and SSRS, kind of SQL Server Analysis Service and SQL Server Reporting Service, which is again, it falls into BI development, where you will be working more on, defining reports, and then, defining cubes, and, defining data analytics and all. So that can be done with the BI development. ETL developer is more of work on the ETL processes. And also, since once you get familiar with SQL development, right, you can also become a BA administrator. It's not that complicated to become a BA administrator. I've seen some organizations have a specific roles for BA administrators. I mean, in my case, fortunately, unfortunately, I'm into all these things. So in my organization, I mostly work on all these concepts. I work as an ETL developer, BA developer, BA administrator, all this. And I started my career with SQL development only. First, to be honest with you, people, I started as an administrator. There was someone leaving our organization, and they need someone quickly to fill that position, and I was the one up for it. So they asked me to join, and I started as an administrator. Then eventually, what I realized is without having a basic SQL knowledge, it will be very hard for me to take care of my administration task. So then there was a need for me to learn SQL development. But that's where I'm recommending you people to start with SQL development. Once you get how to write queries and how to manipulate the data and all, right, then learning concepts of administration, learning concepts of ETL development, and learning concepts of BA development, administration, all this is going to be very easy for you people. It won't even take time, and you don't need any kind of additional trainings for that or additional certifications for that. Of course, you can do certification, but you don't need any additional training. You can learn on your own, but for all this, the basic thing that is required is understanding databases. That comes with only SQL developer. Once you're familiar with SQL development concepts, right, it will be easy for you. So I'm telling this out of my experience. So that's the right path. If you want to work more on the databases, you should always start with SQL development. Right, guys. I hope I have I have given you enough insight on how you can become a SQL developer, and the career path, and then certification path, and learning path. If you guys have any questions, you can ask, and I'll ask someone to take over from here.
Hello everyone, this is Rudrani this side. I'm a senior course advisor at Intellipaat. Today I will be telling you about the course that Intellipaat provides for Microsoft SQL, and I will be telling you how to enroll, how to go ahead, and what all are we providing as a part of this program. So for this particular program in Microsoft SQL, we are the official learning partners of Microsoft, because of which there are three things that are going to be coming out. Firstly, the entire course curriculum is designed and developed in partnership with Microsoft, keeping it at par with the international standards of what you need to know in SQL. Secondly, you would be taught by instructors having 15 plus years of experience in SQL on the table. They would be delivering the entire content to you. That is basically to make sure that not only are we focusing on the theoretical part and the practical part, but also a lot on the industry exposure that you all need to have. Thirdly, you will be getting a certificate from Microsoft. This is what it would represent. Just one second. This certificate from Microsoft is a Microsoft Partner Network Certificate of Achievement. This certificate is valid for a duration of lifetime. It is valid through all top organizations in India and abroad, and it's going to be recognized as a professional certificate throughout. So before we move on to the curriculum, I would like to tell you, the takeaways of this particular program. What are you going to be getting as a part of this program? So this is entirely instructor-led training as live interactive sessions with the instructors over a virtual platform like Google Meets or Zoom. Along with that, 16 hours of self-paced videos would also be given to you along with. Self-paced videos are nothing but the recorded material that has been recorded in a controlled environment. So if you are someone who wants to revise a little bit before you start and attend the live classes, you can totally do so by the self-paced videos, because we give you the access to these videos right away when you go ahead and enroll for this program. And then your live classes are, they start as they are scheduled. A very, very good practical exposure is given to you throughout the program through 32 hours of project work and exercises. All of these projects are industry specific real time projects to make sure that you have a very good industry exposure in SQL. Post the completion of the program and whatever delivery or concepts that we are going to be giving you, you should be able to put it into a practical implementation very, very easily. The certification that I showed you, this is going to be a professional certificate that is valid for a duration of lifetime. It is valid through all top organizations in India and abroad and is going to be recognized as a professional certificate. Coming to the most important service, so if you are someone who is looking out for a change of organization or a smooth transition into the IT industry, or maybe a transition into the domain, a change of domain, we completely help you out with that with the job assistance service that we provide. So it is basically a 5-step process that we provide. The first step is, as soon as you reach 70% of the completion of the course, we assign you a professional team who expertises in portfolio building. Now, this team would entirely be working on your CV, your resume, your LinkedIn profile, and all the other profiles that you have in the industry, as to make it very, very noticeable to the recruiters and the professional community, and also have all the right keywords and points of lines and statements to bypass the applicant tracking software that most MNCs have. So that is the first step, which is your portfolio optimization. The second step is, we assign you a team of training and placement officers who would be entirely responsible in communicating with you that if you're going ahead with the placements, what are your expectations and requirements out of it? So is that a particular location that you're looking at? Is that a firm? Is that a sector? Is that any particular, requirement you have out of the placements that we give from our end? What is the current CTC you're holding? Because your career growth is something we always take care of. So if you're already a working professional, of course you can easily expect a minimum salary hike in the range of 55 to 60% on your current salaries, and also higher levels of positions of hierarchy. So this communication is very important as for us to be able to segregate the organizations accordingly for you. Then we start with a recruitment drive. Regarding the recruitments, we have partnerships and collaborations with around 500 plus reputed multinational companies and tech giants all around the world and throughout India. And as a part of that, we actively give you placements, all of which are inclusively created for Intellipaat students. So you do not have to go ahead and compete with the entire crowd out there. If I give you a generic example of the kind of companies that come to hire with us, that would be companies like Microsoft, Oracle, IBM, Cisco, Nasdaq, Sony, Ericsson, Dell, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, Johnson & Johnson, Shell, McKinsey, Amazon, Adobe, Cisco, EY. So all of these are some of our partnered companies. So by this, we mean to say we also maintain the quality of placements from our end. Apart from that, we also will be giving you a job portal. Here, throughout a duration of lifetime, you will be able to see all the vacancies as and when they come with our partnered companies, and even you can apply from your end by showing Intellipaat certification as a verification, post which direct interviews are scheduled for you. And lastly, for all the interviews that you sit for, specific to each company, we would be end-to-end be training you for the same through various mock interviews, set of questions, salary negotiation skills, soft skills training, and all of that. All of this together is in one service, which is the job assistance. We do give a very, very flexible schedule because not this course is been designed according to freshers as well as working professionals. So if in case you, due to work, you miss out on any of the classes or anything, we also conduct parallel live sessions for you. And of course, all the live sessions are also going to be recorded and put in your learning management system, the access to which you have for a duration of lifetime. Then we come to lifetime free upgrade. Very, very important. So the lifetime access to the content that you have, because all the self-paced videos that you are getting here and all the instructor-led session, the live training that is going to be recorded and put in your LMS system, of course, that comes with a lifetime free upgrade. Anytime in the future, if there are any new additions or changes in the versions of the technology that you're learning from us, we would be entirely updating your content from our end without charging you anything extra for the same. A mentor support is also going to be provided to you as a part of this program. Coming to the curriculum, the entire curriculum is laid out in such a manner that we will be taking you from the very basics of SQL to the advanced level concepts of it. So there is absolutely no prerequisite as of such that we want you to have from your end to be able to take this program, as everything is covered from scratch, and in a very phased manner we will be taking you to the advanced level concepts. So module 1, we introduce you to SQL. Module 2 would entirely be about database normalization and ERM entity relationship model. Then the SQL operators. Then working with SQL join tables and variables. Deep dive into SQL functions, working with subqueries, SQL views, functions, and stored procedures. Deep dive into user-defined functions, SQL optimization and performance, advanced topics, managing database concurrency, practice sessions, of course, because all of these we will be helping you practice, and Microsoft's courses, which are the study materials directly from Microsoft. As I said, throughout the program, you will be getting a very, very good practical exposure. So these are some of the projects that are designed by industry experts to help you get a real world experience in the technology that you are learning from us, and to help you practice the essential tools and show an industry exposure onto your portfolio as well. What are the skills that you are covering? Basically, you are going to be learning about the SQL architecture, the triggers, the join, database normalization, views, indexes, transact SQL, user-defined functions, stored procedures, and functions. I would suggest all of you to download this career transition handbook, so that will basically be able to help you analyze as to how our students have transitioned in the past, and what kind of jobs they have taken up. 60% is the average salary hike that you can expect after taking courses. 30 LPA is the highest salary for a program like this. There have been 1,500 plus career transitions and around 500 plus hiring partners as well. Now, directly coming to fees. Basically, there are two kinds of trainings that we provide: the self-paced training and the online classroom. In self-paced training, as I said, they are recorded material that has been recorded in a controlled environment. If you choose to go ahead with this, you will be getting 16 hours of e-learning videos. Anytime that you basically have to guide yourself through these videos. Anytime that you have doubts, we give you a 24/7 support. So there is a technical working team which is available 24/7. You can directly connect with this team any time of the day or the night that you want, and they will be available to clear out your doubts right away. It will always be a one-on-one doubt resolution session with this team. So either you can call them with your doubts, or you can email them a screenshot to your doubts, or you can even conduct a Google meeting or a Zoom meeting with them. You can share your screen and discuss your doubts with them. The job assistance does not extend to this training. Then we have the online classroom, wherein everything that is available in self-paced is being given to you for free. You can have one-on-one doubt resolution sessions. There is going to be 30 hours of instructor-led training. One of the best things about this training is you can attend as many batches as you want for a duration of lifetime without having to pay anything extra for the same. Okay. So post one enrollment, n number of live classes are available to you for a duration of lifetime. There are two batches that we hold. One is a Tuesday to Friday batch, wherein the classes are conducted on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. in the morning. The other batch that we have is a Saturday and Sunday batch, wherein the classes are conducted on Saturdays and Sundays from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. in the evening. The course fee for this particular program is 15,048. There is going to be 18% of GST on top of that, which will bring the course fee to somewhere around 17,000, including GST. So if now anybody has any doubts regarding anything, they can feel free to put it in the question box or the chat box below. Meanwhile, I'm going to be providing you all with my contact details. So my name is Rudrani. I'm a senior course advisor here at Intellipaat. My email ID is rudrani@intellipaat.com. And my phone number where you can reach me out, just give me 1 second. My phone number would be 8047185988. This is my WhatsApp number. You can reach me out to this number anytime if in case you're willing to enroll for this program, or you can even reply me on my email ID, which is rudrani@intellipaat.com. Now we would be open to questions. If anybody has any questions, please put it down in the questions box below. We'll wait another minute for any doubts that we have. Otherwise, you guys can feel free to text me over my WhatsApp or write to me at rudrani@intellipaat.com. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining today's webinar. It was a pleasure to have you here. Thank you.